Hey Darshita, everything is sorted, right? He's joining, right?
Yeah, he said he's joining.
Perfect. Cool. Let's wait. Folks, give us some time. The employer is having a little hard time getting in. Just an update, if this helps, we have figured out Tech Mahindra doesn't use Zoom. So pretty interesting conundrum we are trying to solve right now. So stay put. We should be able to solve this in some time. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry about that. Really sorry. Yeah. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, Pradipto, we can certainly hear you. How are you doing?
Doing well, and I'm sorry for the 10-minute delay.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. The students were certainly patient, and we appreciate your patience with our process. The process ensures security and no external
Understood.
party can get in. We can't see you. If that's the case, it's going to be, that's fine, but would love, okay,
No.
we
I
can.
think, yeah.
So welcome, Pradipto. I think
Yeah.
we're meeting after long. We have had very meaningful collaboration with Tech Mahindra, and you have played a integral and a very critical role to bridge that gap between GGI and Tech Mahindra as well. In front of you all is a bunch of folks from our future tech school of GGI who are preparing themselves in, like I said, in AI, system design, ML, and a lot of tech PM roles. So everyone, please meet Pradipto. He has very patiently taken out time for all of you, that too on a Sunday evening. So thanks, Pradipto, once again. Darshita is here. She will be here throughout. Over to you. You can run the session however you would want it to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Satakshi, and thanks for everyone for the patient. I mean, kind of, for the patient 10-minute kind of me bungling through the Zoom meeting, etc. Because we are not allowed to use Zoom from a tech. We always use MS Teams. So yeah. So do I have permission to share my screen?
Yes.
do let me know if you can see my screen, guys. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can see.
Okay. Thank you. So again, thanks for judging me on a Sunday, and hope I am audible. Yeah. So yeah. So thanks for appearing at 7 p.m. or roughly 7:10 now on a Sunday, and thank you for your interest in Tech Mahindra. So I will start with couple of things. One is clearly we have had great relationship with GGI, and I think in the last almost 18 months we probably have recruited more than 8 to 10 people from GGI, and all of them are performing well, right? Really well. So I'm very happy with both the performance and the kind of training that GGI is imparting to all of you. So hence we decided to for this year, we decided to take the plunge again and check out the kind of talent GGI will bring to us. So this is kind of the pre-placement talk that we do for MBA colleges, but we do it for GGI as well. It's the same process, pretty much. So I will start with a couple of slides on Tech Mahindra, etc. And then we will go to what we call as business excellence, our kind of consulting team within Tech Mahindra, within which the successful people from GGI will be inducted. Right. So the screen. So this is Tech Mahindra, right? In case you can see my screen, almost $6.44 billion of revenues, right? 100 plus countries. So we are operating in 100 plus countries. There are about 1,000 plus clients that we have. Within the 1,000 plus clients, about 200 plus are Fortune 500 clients. We have also been rated as the Forbes Global Digital 100, the first among. This was in 2021. This was first among the non-US companies to be part of that prestigious group. So we have a few acquisitions and partner companies as well, including Target Group, which is a well-known retailer in the US. There are 3 design agencies called Pininfarina, Bio and Bond, and they primarily provide the user experience, design thinking, etc. The competencies there. And there is also something called SoftGen, which is almost like a financial services consulting company that we have acquired. So these acquisitions have been in the last 3 to 4 years is what I'm showing. And the total revenue figure of Tech Mahindra is including the revenue figure of these acquisition companies as well. So Mahindra Group, I mean, all of you are familiar with, right? Mahindra Group. So we have these Mahindra Automotive, Mahindra Homes, basically what we call as life spaces. And there are many other group companies. Tech Mahindra is one of the biggest group companies within the Mahindra Group. So Mahindra Group is overall about $21 billion, $22 billion company. And Tech Mahindra is roughly $6.4 billion as of last fiscal. And yeah, so Tech Mahindra has been rated. I mean, there are many good accolades that Tech Mahindra has got in the recent past. Primarily, the first is it has been rated as one of the top companies to work for, not only in 2020, which is the pictorial here on the bottom left, but also from 2020 to 2022. So all 3-4 years we have been rated one of the best companies to work for, and one of the best workplaces for women. So our kind of diversity quotient is pretty high as well. And it has also been ranked one of the best places to work in Asia by Great Place to Work, right, in 2021. So going ahead, yeah, so this is where I think I am coming to the consulting flavor of the consulting piece. So the first 2 slides were on Tech Mahindra as a whole. And going forward, I think all of you know that the business shifts are essential and changes are inevitable, right? In the current, what we call as VUCA world, right? So there are changing business models, right? There are reimagined business processes. There is extreme need for data and cognitive, experiences. The technology is being democratized, right? So everybody ultimately has to understand or experience technology in some way or the other. And obviously, beyond economic value, there are digital solutions that that kind of provide value even beyond the pure P&L, right? There is the social value that digital solutions can give, right? So essentially, Tech Mahindra. So because there is a lot of change happening in the ecosystem for our clients. So within Tech Mahindra, there is a organization called BE, which is Business Excellence, right? So which is the consulting and advisory firm within Tech Mahindra. So I and the other colleagues from GGI who have joined Tech Mahindra have joined this organization called BE, Business Excellence. And we are a horizontal organization, which means that we work across industry groups, right? So we are industry agnostic, but we typically, focus on certain service offerings, which I will go to next, right? So from the last slide, where we talked about different changes that are happening in the ecosystem, the primary reason for BE's existence is that they will facilitate the client's journey to the next, right? The next frontier or the next evolution of the client. So BE will help the client to prepare for the next evolution or next frontier of innovation, right? And BE will focus, as I said, focus on purpose, process, data, technology, etc. So ultimately, Tech Mahindra is an IT services company. We all understand that. Business excellence is the consulting, advisory, management consulting, whatever you call it, within the IT services company, right? So the parent remains the IT services firm. So a flair of technology, right, is essential to grow in BE or to grow in Tech Mahindra within BE, right? So that is an important, I think, lesson or an important understanding that all of us need to have. So going forward, I now I have introduced BE. I introduced initially Tech Mahindra. Now I've introduced the business excellence. So NXT is nothing but next, right? The next frontier of BE. So BE is also evolving, like we, So my screen sharing was disabled for some reason. Can you enable it again? Okay. Hope you can see my screen. Yeah. So I'm assuming all of you can see my screen, right?
Oh, yeah, we can see.
Yeah. So I introduced Tech Mahindra, then I've introduced BE, right? Business excellence. Now I will go on and talk about how business excellence serves different clients that it has, right? So if you can see on the left, right? So these are the impact that business excellence will try to create, right? One is top line growth, increased growth. The second is bottom line, growth in terms of efficiency, improved agility. Then there is enhanced customer experience, and finally reduced risks. So these are basically the outcomes or the outputs that business excellence will do. And how do we do it, or what we do is primarily around creating tech-enabled business models, right? Designing humanized business processes, use technology architecture and data insights to create a digital core, and execute tech operating model with robust governance and program management. So primarily these four areas. And how do we do it? So essentially, this is the how part. So we typically benchmark the client, the current client with whom we are working with, benchmark them against their peers and against best practices in the industry, then design the improvement roadmap for them, enable them to, on the path to improvement, right? And also in parallel, realize value for the client, right? So ultimately, all digital transformations or any even business enabled technology transformations start with the premise of some value realization, right? So I will reduce my cost by 20%. I will increase my revenue by 10%. I will reduce my risk, etc. So that is the premise with which, that is the business case or premise with which we typically start. And I think, the business excellence team plays three different roles. One role is, designing the improvement roadmap, right? So if I want a 3 to 5 year improvement roadmap for the CXOs, the business excellence team will do that. Second is, if we have to implement the roadmap that we have drawn, the business excellence team plays the role of a program governance, something called organization change management, and finally value realization office. That is essentially making sure that the value of the transformation is effectively realized. So most of you would have learned that most digital transformations primarily fail to realize value in the first 3 to 5 years, right? And that is primarily because they have no mechanism of capturing value or tracking it and realizing it. So business excellence team helps in kind of realizing the value. Okay, so I will pause here. If there are any questions, we can take it, and then we will kind of delve deeper into each of these four service offering teams within business excellence. One is the tech-enabled business model. Second is the business process. Third is the digital core, and the fourth is the operating model. Any questions till this point?
You may raise your hand if you have any queries.
Yeah, somebody has raised his hand. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Sure, Chinmay, please go ahead.
Hi, Pradeep. I have a question that what do you or what can I infer from this word named digital core?
Sorry,
what kind of giving for digital technology, or what is the meaning of word digital core here?
Yeah, so digital core is primarily, so essentially we will create the digital core for our clients is what we meant, right? So all clients want to kind of turn digital native, right? So as you know, digital native organizations have a higher growth rate, etc., right? So using technology architecture, data, insights, we will help the clients to realize their, fundamental digital transformation, right? Ultimately, it is kind of, unless you have the framework, right, or what we call as the bedrock, right? So, created to enable digital, right? You cannot really become digital. So it is primarily the digital foundation for our clients, you can say that. So for example, if you are using manual interventions, right? If you're using Excel spreadsheet to input your financial data, you cannot really become digital, right? So because it is a manual intervention, it is prone to manual error, it is not scalable, etc. Right? I'm just giving a random example. Right? So using technology, architecture, and data insights to create the digital foundation for our clients is what I'm talking about here, digital core. Did that answer?
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no other questions, we can go ahead. Now we will, delve deeper into each of these, stuff. So yeah, so now the tech-enabled business model, this is essentially things around, business strategy that we do, things around, product-oriented organization. So here is essentially the, so there is so although we have, we have called out that we are industry agnostic, there is a small industry advisory piece as well here, right? And then there we do business model transformation. So pure digital strategy engagements will come under this organization, or this essentially this construct of a. So any digital strategy piece, any business model transformation, any industry advisory, etc., will come under here. And these are some of the examples below. Right? Now going back to the second piece, which is the business process. So this is easy to understand. So essentially, it is about business process reengineering, business process management, etc. Right? And so automation consulting as well, right? So any industry function automation, right? Any business process reengineering or business process redesign is part of this business process management work group. Okay, so BPR, BPM automation in short. Now coming to this thing, right? About so to your point, Chinmay. So we are using data and insights. We are using cloud. We are using technology strategy. We are increasing architecture. So all of these interventions will help to fundamentally strengthen the digital core of our clients, so that business model transformation or digital strategy or web or meta strategy can primarily be put on top of it. Okay, and the value we deliver, including technology strategy, portfolio and architecture optimization. So these are the kind of service offerings we have: data and AI strategy, right? Cloud strategy, etc. So this is essentially the work that we do for our clients. So we start with technology strategy, data and AI strategy, cloud strategy, product selection, right? Product optimization strategy, etc. Right? Now, going back to here, so this part I think is the largest part that we have within business excellence. So how do we execute a tech operating model with robust governance and program management? So this is about right now agile way of working, right? You must have heard of agile principles or agile concepts, right? So agile coaches, scrum masters, business analysts, data analysts, etc. And also things around tooling, right? The Celonis tool, ServiceNow, etc. BMC Remedy. So IT service management, IT process management, everything. So this is a bit more technical or tech enabled, I would say, rather than the other two or three that we just discussed. So essentially, agile DevOps transformation, integrated IT tooling, digital service management. This is the ITIL, ITSM piece, and the value realization office is primarily part of this tech operating model, right? And there is the other piece around program management and governance, right? Organization change management and program management. So this is the other piece around it. So this is in a nutshell what we do, right? And how we do it, I have also discussed. And our footprint. So VE is about 1,400 people out of 140,000 people in Tech Mahindra. So we are about 1% of Tech Mahindra's strength, pretty much, right? And we work across 18 countries. So out of 1,400 people, 800 people are in India, 600 people are are across India, either placed, in geographies or they are in projects in those geographies, right? And we service 190 clients every day, etc. So this is essentially the footprint of B, which is pretty much global. And as you can see below, we work across banking and financial, media and entertainment, telecom, energy and utilities, life sciences and health, manufacturing, retail and travel, etc. So pretty much industry agnostic. But as I mentioned, there is a small vertical consulting around telecom, around manufacturing, and around BFSI, right? These are the three small vertical consulting practices which are very small, which are incubated within BE as well, right? And this is the profile of people within BE, right? So our gender diversity, that is female population, is around 35%. So most of the people are engineers, right? Engineers and MBAs. And total experience is around 13 years, right? So a lot of people are very experienced in BE, and the Tech M experience is around 5 years. So a lot of people have stuck around, right? Or have liked what BE has to offer. And a lot of people have professional certifications. As you can see, more than two certificates are kind of quite high, right? So this is about business excellence team, right? Which is being branded as BE Next. And yeah, so we would like some of you to apply here and and try to see how. I mean, basically, the only thing that I would like to tell you is that we are very people friendly. We are extremely people friendly, and we essentially nurture people to kind of grow to their roles. That is an important part of being B. Although you may not have a lot of formal training when you come to B, so a lot of on the job, right, training, a lot of coaching, etc., is something that we typically do. Okay. And these are some of the accolades that we have got. So this is B's accolades, right? In Forbes 2022, B has been rated among the world's best management consulting firms, right? Vault has ranked, one of the best consulting firms. This is not TechM. This is only business excellence within TechM, right? ISG has rated as a leader in business consulting, etc., etc. There has been a lot of accolades, and ALM Consulting Group has also rated BE as one of the best consulting firms in the world. So, and these are the marquee projects that we have done: J&J, Johnson & Johnson in the US, Choice Bank in the US, Neom Digital City in Saudi Arabia, Telefonica in Germany, etc. Right? And this is the typical career path of I mean, we are saying an MBA hire, it could be any hire, right? Including the GGI hires. Right? So typically you will be at the, when you join, you will be the doer, right? At the bottom of the pyramid, right? Then after a few years, you graduate to a manager, right? From a doer, you become a manager, project manager or an engagement manager. Then you become a seller, right? You have to sell. So, so demand generation is part of your KRA. And then finally you become a leader, you become a partner or an IBU head, right? Partner in a consulting firm, IBU head in terms of Tech Mahindra parlance, etc. Right? So the KRAs, the typical KRAs for a doer is utilization, that is client utilization. How many hours of client billable engagements you're doing, client feedback and thought leadership. The typical KRAs, client feedback means the feedback that the end client, right, will give for you. And thought leadership is primarily your research papers or your white papers or a point of view articles that you will develop, right? So as you can see, there is no business, I mean, there's no explicit business development KRA at the bottommost level, right? As you grow up the chain, you will see that the business development or the demand generation increases. Those KRAs increases, and the execution KRAs reduce. So the doer and the manager have a lot of execution KRAs, executing client projects, etc. The seller and the leader have to bring in the right projects for the manager and the doer to execute. Primarily, that is the philosophy. Okay. So, any questions till this date, or anywhere that I can help you? Did you get a good understanding of business excellence and overall?
Yes, that was really helpful. Thank you for walking us through the inspiring and the innovative work your team is doing.
Yeah. So now we will. Now I will kind of talk about the recruiting part. Right? Now
Sure. Just
recruiting
before that,
has
I think Akash had a question. Sorry to interrupt. Akash
Yeah.
had a question. Akash, do you want to go ahead? Sure, we can take it later. Later we can go ahead with it though.
Yeah, so regarding the recruiting part, so right now I think we are recruiting only against confirmed roles, which means that whatever we are not recruiting ahead of the curve, which means that everybody who will be recruited for a project, confirmed project. So which is helpful for both you as well as us, right? So you gain project experience immediately, and we also don't incur the cost of you while you are on bench. So that also means that we are not hiring. We are hiring against very focused roles or job descriptions, right? And the other thing that means is that the timeline of hiring is very short. So if you have a lot of notice period, right, then might be difficult for us to hire you immediately. Although we can keep in touch and we can kind of and see whether we can get ahead of the curve, etc. later. And primarily the reason why we are kind of hiring for confirmed roles only is because we have a little bit of a supply issue. I mean, excess supply issue, right? So a few people might be on the bench right now, and we don't want to increase the bench that we have, right? So the roles, and the next slide talks about the roles. So the roles that we are currently soliciting for, there are 4 roles, right? But all the roles require, and this is important to understand, 3 to 8 years of relevant experience. Location is agnostic, but we would prefer you to be in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Mumbai, Noida, and Chennai. Joining date latest by end September for these roles. And there'll be 3 rounds of interview, including 1 by end client, right? So we are looking for people with some relevant experience. So for people with no experience or non-relevant experience, maybe right now we might not have anything for you, right? But we can come back later as the demand situation improves. As I mentioned, there is some excess supply. So the roles that we are looking for are in business analysis, business analyst, data analyst, data scientist, and a scrum master, right? So scrum master is an agile project manager. So I will kind of update the JD for a scrum master and the job experience and share it with you, right? So these are the 4 roles that we are looking for, and we are looking for 3 to 8 years of relevant experience here. Any questions till this date on this? As I mentioned, for people who do not have these skills, it is kind of, I mean, basically the opportunities may not be immediate, but we can certainly circle back later, primarily by end of the year, to see how we are progressing. Because as I mentioned, there is a little bit of a supply issue right now. Any questions?
You may raise your hands if you have any questions. We can take it one by one.
And I can share this PPT with you through Darshita so that you can. Yeah.
Sure, that will be helpful. Does anyone has any question? Otherwise, as the next steps for everyone in the community. So all the 4 roles which Pradipto shared with us, so we'll share with you over mail, and we'll share the application form as well. And once we get all the applications, so Pradipto will share it with your team, and then you can take it forward from there.
Yes, I will take it forward once. But please understand that I am looking for relevant experience here, right? So even though you may have 10 years of experience, but you may not have 3 to 8 years of relevant experience. So that is the thing, right? So please do kind of apply judiciously, because there will be more opportunities later on as the demand pipeline improves and as the business outlook, as you know, for IT services is a bit muted right now. So as the outlook improves, we will have more opportunities to engage.
Sure.
Okay, I think so the roles including digital advisory, etc., will probably come in a little later in the year, right? Right now we are focusing primarily on these four roles: business analyst, data scientist, and scrum master. And all these roles, I will personally ensure that I mentor them. I mean, these roles will be client facing, of course, right? Primarily based out of India initially, and then there will be opportunities for to travel on site, etc. As the opportunities open up, right? If you do well, right, and the client has a demand, we will definitely send you on site after a year at offshore. Okay. So if there are no other questions, so thank you for your patient listen, and wish you all the best, right? And I apologize again for being late, right? So
No
so
worries,
yeah.
no worries at all.
So thank
Thank
you
you so
again.
much, Pradipto. Yeah, thank you so much. It was a great learning more about your organization and the great work you are doing, and to learn that Tech Mahindra is really a people-centric and a purpose-driven organization. We all look forward to applying to the roles and looking to join.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys, and have a great rest of the day. Bye.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.